May 1989. Soviet forces have launched a bold amphibious operation targeting the strategic island of Guam. Their fleet is massive, led by the formidable Kirov-class battlecruiser and bristling with firepower. Their objective is to establish dominance in the Pacific and force the United States into retreat. Outnumbered but never outmatched, the United States Navy responds with precision and resolve. Armed with the latest advancements in naval technology, USS Princeton and her escorts prepare to face the overwhelming Soviet threat. The battle to defend Guam has begun. Hey there, welcome back to Sea Power. Today, a special request scenario. Can you do something with the NTU mod, the next threat upgrade? Sure, I'm just gonna have to invent a scenario because the base ones are not exactly balanced around the ones or around the capabilities that some of these ships now get. Because the ship that you're looking at right now, for example, is the Princeton. The Princeton is now capable of launching many missiles at the same time because she has a VLS. She also has a different loadout. This is going to be a very capable ship, both offense and defense. She has a couple of land attack missile tomahawks, anti-ship tomahawks. She has harpoons, and the harpoons have been buffed. They have a range of 120 miles, not just 65. As for these missiles here, that's the Standard Missile 2 medium range with a range of 90 miles. Slightly farther out of range, or at least slightly farther ranged, is the Dewey over here. She has the Standard Missile range of 210 miles. That's enormous with the Standard Missile range 2 ER Block 3. So she actually carries a more modern version than the Princeton. And Jarrett over there is also capable of throwing in her own both offensive and defensive capabilities. And we're going to need all of them. Because over there, towards the north, we have a Soviet task force. And it's a big one. This is the Soviet task force that I've created for this scenario. They're going to Guam, and we really don't have a whole lot to stop them. We do, however, have Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is currently doing 5 knots at 95 feet depth, and she's capable of launching a decent array of weaponry. She too carries the Tomahawks. Unfortunately, these are the 109Bs. That's the land attack. Sorry, that's the anti-ship missiles. She also carries land attack if you want to use the 109C, but you can't exactly use those against ships. And we also get a couple of the harpoons. That's the 84 Delta version with, again, 120 miles. That immediately puts her into range. And we're going to need her firepower because the Kirov is right here. The Kirov's not the primary objective. The Soviets in this scenario are landing a force at Guam, or at least that's where they're going. So in order to stop them, we have scrambled a couple of ships, and I really don't have many, but I do have a substantial tech advantage. Over to the far east, we have the Stimson. Now this is a model of the Benjamin Franklin class, but the NTU mod, the next threat upgrade mod, has changed it into sort of an Ohio version of the submarine. Unfortunately, can't change the model, at least not as of yet, and as such, we're going to have to make do with this placeholder design. She, however, can launch 112 Tomahawk anti-ship missiles out to a range of 250 miles, so we are pretty solid when it comes to her firepower. The problem is, she is well out of range. She's 366 miles out, and those Tomahawks have a range of 250. So before we're going to be able to engage with her, we first have to either try and fall back with the surface group that we have here, or we're going to have to do at least a little bit of damage to Pittsburgh. I have created the scenario myself, and that means I do know what is in there, but it does not mean by any stretch that it's going to be an easy scenario. The enemy does have a submarine out there somewhere. They have probably a hefty ASW patrol going. You can really see a helicopter flying off there in the distance. Engaging this group with missiles is going to be difficult, because not only do they have the Kirov, they also have some other very capable ships. And yes, I did throw in the Sverdlov, because, well, I thought these guys are going to land. And as such, they might want to use the firepower from the guns on this old light cruiser. If you want to play this scenario for yourself, you can. Link down below in the description is both the NTU mod, which is required for this scenario, and the scenario itself. So you can play it if you want to. For me, I'm gonna wait with the Pittsburgh to get a little bit closer into range, because not only have her missiles been buffed, her torpedoes have gotten a nice overhaul too. She's using the Mark 48 Mod 6 ad caps, These have a range of 28 miles and they travel at 65 knots. Very, very capable. As it says, they are wire guided, being capable of retargeted, higher speed, higher range, better seeker, drastically improved deep diving performance to counter fast deep diving Soviet subs. At the moment that will not be a problem. Now, seeing as these boys are pretty loud, this should not make it very difficult for her to both keep a track on things as well as potentially engage them. I can try and eliminate the Kirov early, because if this thing is gone, that would seriously open up the way for a big missile storm coming in from the south, and potentially Pittsburgh herself throwing in her own missiles. But in order to get to the Kirov, it's probably not going to be easy. And keep in mind, torpedoes launched against the Kirov are not strictly a death sentence, because this ship has the capability of destroying incoming torpedoes. And that is going to make this substantially more difficult, because it's not like, oh, the Kirov is out front. Great, I'm just going to torp her. Well, you can try. You just might find that you're fairly, well, minimal in numbers. I mean, we only have 16. A fairly limited amount of torpedoes is going to get swatted out of the water by her RBUs. So it's going to be difficult. And I like difficult. But hey, we do have a tech advantage. We have a serious range on our weapons. We have the capability of even launching a mobile submarine simulator, the MOS. And with that, we should be able to engage fairly safely as long as they do pursue this decoy. So, what's the plan? I'm going to let these guys close in. I'm going to let the Pittsburgh kind of just loiter here. And if I can engage the Kirov with torpedoes, I'm probably going to have to send a full spread, all 4. Which will leave me, I think, defenseless for 15 minutes as my torpedo tubes reload. There's going to be a full spread. I'm going to send them on a dog-like pattern. So we go north and then east into the Kirov. That is when they get into range. Kirov's doing 13 knots at present. And I don't think they're going to go any faster than that, because they can't, really. They are stuck by the slowest ship in the formation. So let's say in 4 hours they're going to have traveled 52 miles. So they're going to be about there. I am doing 5 knots just to make sure I don't move too fast and make noise at a course of 068. So in 4 hours I'm going to be there as well, which is not exactly where I would want to end up. But I think I can make it work. Why does it say 2:34? Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Because it's using Zulu time, not local time. Okay. As for the other sub, the Stimson, I'm going to have her rush in. This button is new. Cavitation forbidden. It's interesting that that's there. Because that wasn't there last time around I played the game. So you can now actually tell the sub to ignore the cavitation problem. And cavitation is basically a submarine getting really fast, gets really loud because it pops all sorts of bubbles in its wake. That's the simple version. And I'm probably skipping over some details. But it also means that you're going to be very easy to detect. Okay. What are we going to do? We're just going to kind of wait here. The only problem that I do see is that the SAG, so my Surface Action Group with the Dewey, the Jared, and the Princeton, is going to fall under the range of the Kirov pretty soon. Because remember that this thing has an enormous range. What was it? 370 something? 378. So she's extremely capable. And she only really needs a detection. If she launches a helicopter, and that helicopter goes radioactive, they might spot my force. So I think for the time being, I think it is better to fall back. We're just going to fall back a little bit. We're going to wait for that submarine to get into range, so the Stimson's going to join the fight. They expect to be here in about, let's say that is, bloody hell, that's a heck of a lot of range. We have a range of 250. Let's put that up on the range chart. 250 there. Okay, so that gives me an idea of where I need to be. Where I should be going. Okay, go there. And now we're gonna wait. Let time pass. Let these boys get into range. Pittsburgh has detected a new contender. We have a new threat, a new problem in our path. There's a submarine there. And this submarine is going to have to get dealt with first. She is doing 11 knots, currently at a depth of 136. We can barely track her. I'm going to turn due north and give my passive array a little bit more opportunity to get a slightly better picture of what she's doing and where she's going. I think she's heading due south. But once the AI takes control over these subs, as much as I have set them up in the editor, they tend to just go and do their own thing to some extent. A new friend here is now officially in range. 25 miles out, so that puts him in range, but if he runs away, he's gonna have a pretty decent chance of escape. So let's change course. Let's start heading southeast. Is he above or below the layer? He's above the layer, so we're gonna go below. And with that, we might be able to increase speed a smidge and just try and get some range, well, a little closer to him. I want to make sure I get the drop on him. Launch a couple of torpedoes, dogleg them, so don't send them directly at him, but with a twist. And then I should be able to have enough fuel, enough range to get to the guy and eliminate him. It also puts me directly in the path of the enemy formation. If they're pushing forward with active sonar, they might get a detection on me. It is dangerous, and losing this ship, well, it's not directly you've lost the scenario, but it's going to make it substantially more difficult. So I can't afford to lose this boat. This is going to be a very, very important asset. A little later, Pittsburgh is close to 17 miles away from the Slava. And my plan is to launch my torpedoes east and then north. So we have a range right now to the Slava of 23 miles, give or take. He's going to continue on his way south, so we should have enough. Considering the Kirov is also there, but will hear the torpedoes, I don't want to send too many. So I'm thinking of sending 3 and keeping 1 in reserve. The submarine has kind of been detected here, but it's vague. Also, he's 27 miles out, 26.5, so I'm not going to bother with him. So here goes. Let's launch from below the layer, just to have a little bit of additional margin of safety. And with that, conceal our launch as much as possible. The depth is at 393, that's where the thermal layer is, so we're going to 430. Dive. And I'm going to send my torpedoes basically due east. And just see what they do after 10 miles. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Track 752. Whip it away.
Good hunting, gentlemen. Good hunting. So what I'm going to do now is run the time acceleration a bit. Let's go to 10 times speed. Torpedoes are heading due east, and they're all wire guided, so I can tell them exactly where I want them to go. Everybody's faded, that's fine. Because I was below the layer, or rather I am below the layer. Let's kind of mark where these ships were. There's a Pecha that I can still hear. Look at that. Rapuchka. Sorry, Rapucha. 2 Osas, the Rogov, another Osa. And there's another ship behind them. Plenty of fun for the whole family. By the time that my torpedoes get to their targets, I should be way more than reloaded. I should be ready. Oh, I thought I said I said I was going to launch 3. Here we are, launching 4. Whatever. 4 it is. Now, what I think is going to happen is the Soviets, when I turn these torpedoes north, will detect them. They will then start changing course, and they will start launching weapons due here. Because that's where they detected the torps from. I'm nowhere near that position. So I'm going to tell this torpedo to go north. I'm going to tell this torpedo to go a little bit northeast. You're going to also join that vector, and you're going to also join that vector. You can maybe even make them believe there's 2 submarines by launching a spread from here, and the other one passes a bit farther and attacks from there. And they'll go, what the fuck? And they might drop weapons here and there. So the Pittsburgh at still 7.8 miles out should be perfectly safe. I'm gonna go above the layer.
Make my depth. 2, 2. Contact faded.
Let me see if I can reacquire those targets. Oh, the layer's changed. We're now 258. Okay. The layer has changed. Well, so be it. Depth. There. 242. And hello, gentlemen. Good morning. We're gonna go there. That's the Slava. That's the Pecha. That makes you the Kirov. Try and splash that Kirov. The Pecha is basically not a very valuable target. But I'm keeping this torpedo here, not to engage the Pecha. I'm keeping it here in case this thing turns west. And then I can catch it with the torpedo that we call designation 1010. At least that's the track that we have to it.
New submerged submarine.
Ah, he's back again. Okay.
Hostile surface.
In case you're wondering, you have helicopters, why do you not send them out this far? Two reasons. One, they don't have the range. And two, the enemy Kirov has such a magnificent anti-air range that it's going to be very difficult to surprise this guy. And I think his anti-air range was about 50 something. That's the short range, SAN-6. Yeah, 52 miles. So he's very capable of just swatting my helicopter out of the sky. And since that Kirov is 33 miles or 31 miles away from their submarine, or supposed submarine, it's not exactly something that I can easily eliminate. I would risk a helicopter doing that, which at the present I don't want to do. For now, they're just maintaining their course. They don't know about any problems. Just the way I like it. If we can eliminate the Sovrameni, that would be fantastic. Because the Sovrameni gone, and this one gone, I can definitely overwhelm the whole formation with the rest of the weapons mounted on the submarine. The other submarine, that is. Stimson, which is almost in range. At this point, they might be getting aware. I still haven't set to the torpedoes that they need to target this thing, so they're still just on run to enable. This one, however, is active, I think. Nope, they're not active yet. They're only active when you got that, I think, the green seeker cone.
Contact faded. Track.
2 times speed currently.
Contact
3 miles out.
Track.
He's not going very fast. Why is he not detecting my torpedoes? Pittsburgh's on position. Very good. Maintain course.
0, 0, 7. Hell my.
Engage the torp. Or sorry, engage the Slava. 2 torps ought to do it. Might even be overkill.
Hostile submerged. Contact faded.
The hell?
Track.
Yeah, they're dropping torpedoes. 7630, 7631, 7632. There's noisemakers coming up now. Okay, so he's turning southeast, changing east. So that's when Torpedo 1008 is going to join the fun and catch him there. I can no longer change the course on these torps. I think because they've been bound to a target. Yeah, there's a set 65. Look at the course of that set 65 relative to where I'm going. 13 miles out. They have no idea where I'm at. The Kirov is responding, changing east, increasing speed to 19 knots. Sovrameni is responding. I don't really want to spend 4 torpedoes all on one target. Yeah, even the Pecha is running off at 26 knots. I just don't think that my submarine at Pittsburgh can engage everything and win. It's not that likely. Not all by itself. There's the target. Right there. And there's the RBU launch. Here it comes. That's their anti-torpedo depth charge. Which, yes, can be used against submarines, but more likely will try and... Hello. Try and squat my torpedo. Ooh, got close there. They have a substantial amount of those charges, so they can probably keep going for a while. At this point, I'm not really sure what to do with my torpedo here. I can try going for the Kirov, but... I'm thinking it might not have enough fuel to make it to the Kirov if the Kirov's running. Right now, though, they're not really making that much of an effort. I think this Slava is not going to survive. As for this Torp, what are we going to do with you? Yeah, the whole formation's in disarray. As they should be. Sverdlov's running at 24 knots, heading north. Keep these things on a longer run to enable. I don't want to have them go searching for targets just yet. His RBU attempt failed. Oh, there's another torpedo there. Yeah, he's done for. I know ATCAPs are supposed to detonate below the keel and just break the back of the ship that way, but I don't think we're going to see that happen. Doesn't matter though. He is gone. And if he's not gone, he's going to at least be crippled. And pretty much mission ineffective. Did you just toss a noisemaker overboard, or was that a torpedo? That might actually have been a torpedo they just launched. Okay. Get off, heading away in 21 knots. Maybe we can catch him. As for what's further upfield... Is that the other Slava? Yes, it is. He's potentially too far away. Nevertheless, so far we've sent 2 torpedoes at a target, they both hit. And of course, yes, I did waste 1 here, but whatever. Let's see what else we can fish up here. Can we get this guy? I'm going to tell the torpedo to go and search for the Kirov right now. I'm not sure how much longer I can keep the wire, so how much longer I can keep guiding the torpedo in. Okay, you're also going to go for the Kirov. 2 different areas. If he continues to run, he might just outrun the torps. But I'm not sure. He's turning east. Course 081. Yeah, torpedo's locked in. I can't change it anymore. Range, a mile. We're closing quickly. Torpedo's changing depth. Going to 330. He's changing course west towards north right now. Northeast 0.45. Where are you going, Sunshine? Everybody's dropped noisemakers at this point. There's more noisemakers than ships in this formation. But I guess that's fair. Is that a Kirov up ahead? I think it might just be a Kirov up ahead. That's a torpedo launch? Hold on. Is he at such a bad vector that he can't launch his RBUs? Yeah. He's running away. And I think his RBUs, so his anti-submarine mortar, is up here. On the bow, so he can't use them. Really? Are Mark 48 going to get lucky and actually score a hit? The irony is, if the Kirov had pushed into me, he probably would have been able to squash the torpedo. Yeah, we're going to land a hit. 1 hit's not necessarily the end of the Kirov, but it'll definitely make a dent. And of course, it's not the only one. Although this one... Quite sure what it's going for. It might eventually find the Kirov, but for now... Maybe. As for this one, we have confirmed kill on that surface ship, so that Slava is gone. Excellent. Contact eliminated. We've eliminated one of their, let's say, anti-ship / anti-air platforms. Let's see what the rest is going to do. Geez, they really populated the place. 1, 2, 3 torps. 4, 5. Torpedo status already. Let's send 1 towards the Petya. Petya can't really do much. Let's send it north and then change course east. He's doing 26 knots heading west. Let's see if I can meet him somewhere up there.
Track.
And then have the Pittsburgh change course due
Turn to
east.
course. 091. Hell
How are we
mine.
doing? Wow, you're looking bad. Woohoo! I'm surprised it's still afloat. I mean, look at her. If this ship continues to float, I wonder how much of their weapons are still feasible, especially as a defensive measure. And visually, I don't have any fire on her, so it's possible that she'll stay functional as an anti-air platform. Although she's going down pretty bad now. There we go.
Contact
Job done.
Track.
One torpedo to the stern of the Kirov and she's dead. But the other Mark 48 doesn't care. And just goes for her anyway. Boom.
Hit track. 76.
Incredibly deadly weapon, this one. And so much for the Kirov. Okay.
Contact faded.
That makes sending a massive torpedo salvo against this group even easier. I wasn't really expecting this level of success. I thought most of those torpedoes were just going to get eliminated.
Track.
Simply because those RBUs are so good. At least they were.
Contact faded.
It's possible that that's been changed in a patch. But they were very annoying. You just eliminated all of your torpedoes every time on the way in. And you could launch 4 torps and they just all get squashed. Probably overpowered at that point, but now they might have over-nerfed it. This Slava is
765.
just dauntlessly continuing on its course.
Hostile.
Which is fine, but seeing as the patch is running away fast, I'm gonna change target to Slava. And
Contact faded.
I might... What's your weapons range? You don't have a Silex, do you? Why is there a torpedo here? Is that the Sverdlov?
764
Did you panic?
is classified.
No,
Hostile.
you don't have those. So... What?
Contact faded. Track.
Who dumped that torpedo into the water? That's a UMGT-1, so it could be air-launched. It could be helo-dropped. That'd be funny. Anyway, now that the Kirov is dead, I do feel a heck of a lot safer pushing my surface action group back in.
Turn to course.
So a good start so far. We've eliminated some very important players, and now potentially Stimson and her 112 Tomahawks have a very decent chance of eliminating the rest of the formation. Just need to get her into range and unleash hell. Hope you enjoyed this first part. Next part coming up tomorrow, or if you remember, you can already watch it now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon for the next part.